Hey guys, welcome back and thank you for joining me. Feel free to call me Cookie. So I am making this is my second video, and it's my second video that I've made tonight. The first one that I created, it went a little bit long, so I just want to jump right back in to what I was talking about a few minutes ago, which is my thoughts around Ethereum and where things are going, and just kind of some of the narratives. Ethereum obviously is the dominating layer one. The prevailing narrative for months now, especially in the little bit of a bear, is building in the bear, L2, making things as affordable as possible, getting all of the L2 roll up technology shipped. And all of that has been going so well. And we've had L2s just popping up out of nowhere, or not popping up out of nowhere, but we've got a bunch to choose from. I mean, feel free, pick whichever L2 that you'd like, bridge over to it, and have some fun. So the L2 narrative is very live and well. So I'm starting to question, what else should I be thinking about? I have multiple chains that I do my dominant amount of DeFi activity on. I'd say like 90% of my portfolio is on Optimism, and I mentioned in my last video that's mainly because my first experiences with L1, I was priced out of it. I just couldn't afford the transaction fees. So I went down the rabbit hole of, experimenting with BNB. Binance Smart Chain wasn't significantly cheaper. It was a little bit cheaper, like Pancake Swap, all that stuff. I had a really good time there. That is what really helped me get a really good understanding of exactly what DeFi is, liquidity provision, staking, all of that good stuff. But anyway, jumped over to Phantom, had a lot of fun over there. Super cheap gas, really good community. Teams like Spooky Swap, Beethoven X, I mean, Reaper. I can't say anything better about Phantom. Like that's where I started to realize that there is really something to DeFi and all of crypto. And yeah, that was like my pill. That was my pill moment. I don't know if it's red pill, blue pill. Tell me down in the comments below, which color pill is it when you just get doped out? I think it's from the Matrix, right? Yeah, red pill, blue pill. Can't shit on me in the comments about it. All right, which pill did I actually take? Because I got addicted to crypto. Moving on, Bankless is, in my opinion, one of the authorities when it comes to, I don't want to call them mainstream because they're not. They're Bankless, but their brand and the way that they handle communicating to the community is very professional. I listen to Bankless just about every episode, so I'm not knocking them. I'm learning from them. I'm trying to digest and better understand what I'm taking away from all of the time that I spend listening to Bankless and others, right? And that's why I really have this clip here going. We have David from Bankless, and then we have Anthony from the Daily Gwei. Love the Daily Gwei too. Shout out to both of you guys. You guys are killing it. Love both of their content. And this particular conversation that's being looped here is, as you can see in the text, they had a bit of a discussion the other day about pretty much making anything a roll up. Like that's what's been, again, the narrative. Like there are some layer ones that are becoming layer two roll ups because Ethereum has continued to prove that all roads lead back to it. All roads lead back to Ethereum. So when you have these ETH killers that come out and they fail and they shrivel up, now we're starting to see those teams pivot into making L2s. But we still have some very strong L1s with their own narratives, their own identities that are resisting that. And again, like going back to this conversation that was being had between David and Anthony, just like anything else, they're like, all right, well, is Solana gonna fail and become an L2? Was pretty much the gist of it. And I'm, paraphrasing here a little bit, not trying to put words in anybody's mouth, but a member of the Solana community popped out here. Unlayered podcast. I've been digging into these guys, and I like some of their takes. And it looks like they came back and said, "Hey, you actually can't run Solana as an L2. Mechanically, it just does not work." And this and some other takes have been really making me want to think about Solana more. And it's not that there's anything wrong with Ethereum, but I just want to expand my horizon because, again, being so involved in the Ethereum community, you you stop asking more. You stop asking for more reason to stay involved, and you kind of just go with the flow. My thing with the L2s is that it is a little confusing. It is a little tough. Now, bear in mind, I have no problem bridging. If I want to get to a bridge or if I want to get to another chain, I can get to the next chain. I'm not talking about, oh, I don't understand how to do it myself. I've been messing around with the blockchain for long enough to know what I'm doing. But we're talking about wanting blockchain adoption to reach the mainstream. And while I believe that ultimately all roads lead back to Ethereum, the L2 narrative does make it tough. The L2 means of doing ETH scaling, at least in its current state, is a little tough. I mean, we got to remember we're super early and we are DeFi natives. We are the beta testers for everything. We're beta testing everything. And as beta testers, we start to feel like everybody should be willing to have gone through all of the struggles that we went through to get involved in DeFi, in crypto. And that's a very hard ask. It's hard enough to wrap your mind around what crypto is. What is Bitcoin? Why Bitcoin? Why Ethereum? Why ultrasound money? These are that's a whole psychological rabbit hole to go down, point blank period, right? So then when you stomach all of that and you say, okay, I'm just going to make a Coinbase account, you go in and you KYC and you make your Coinbase account, you put your checking account or your credit card on file and you buy some Bitcoin, you're like, hell yeah, screw the government. And then the centralized exchange gets hacked. Or they pull an FTX and they run off with your money, or something happens on that centralized exchange, and then you go, oh, well, the promise of crypto must be a lie. The promise of Bitcoin must be a lie. So, but you've been continuously traveling down that rabbit hole. So before you get rugged, or maybe after you get rugged, after you get rugged by a centralized exchange, you jump into DeFi. And you say, no, 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 the centralized exchanges, I shouldn't be keeping my crypto on that centralized exchange. It needs to go into my cold or hot wallet, right? It needs to go to my MetaMask or it needs to go to my ledger. That's a whole nother rabbit hole because self custody is a whole nother set of assumptions and understanding and precaution and responsibility all on its own. So there's another layer to the cake. Um, and then you start saying, okay, I want to start investing. I want to start lending. Where do I get the best rates? You go on DeFi Llama, you go to their yields column, you have USDT, or you still have that BTC that we were talking about. You wrapped it, you sent it where? Like, where do you send it? Do you send it to ETH? Do you send it to ETH L1? Because when you do that, you're setting yourself up for, I don't want to say failure or frustration, but you're automatically putting yourself into the problem. And that's what I believe the biggest value in Base is having Coinbase be able to drive people into the L2 space to avoid people running into the problem of high gas costs, um, which is great, which is awesome. Ethereum's future is L2 plus, right? L2, L3 scaling. Ethereum L1 is going to be the settlement layer and everything's going to happen on L2. But we're just now starting to see things like Base, and we're going to see how OP BNB goes, making a Binance's L2. And this is all on the OP stack, so I'm like super bullish on OP. I don't think I'll be taking a lot of my portfolio and moving it to another L2 just yet. I'm pretty comfortable in my farming positions and stuff like that. But anyways, getting back on topic. So let's say you bridge over to optimism and you have 10K there. Things are going great. And then eventually the protocol's on there, yield dries up, and there's nothing really keeping you there. Like, at the end of the day, the tech is great, the community is great, the NFTs are awesome, but like, I'm here to make money. I'm here to make money. I'm here to engage. I'm here to help people get ahead. I'm here to make a life and a business, hopefully, out of interacting with the blockchain. And there's so many different ways to do that, right? You have yield farming, you have lending, you have airdrop farming is the big thing right now. Again, as all of these L2s and all of this new technology starting to come online, you have to be flexible, right? If you're just here for NFTs, being on a single chain isn't too bad. If you're here for gaming, being on a single chain isn't too bad. If you're in DeFi, if you're on just one chain, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. You've got to be farming in multiple places. You've got to be searching for opportunity on multiple chains, which requires that you bridge. Now, while bridges and that bridging experience isn't horrible, it isn't great, and bridges are so damn dangerous. Exploit after exploit after exploit. Now, I know that we have decentralized exchanges and all DeFi protocols. We've had tons of exploits in them. Again, I had some money tied up in a smart contract that you know the project ended up getting hacked, and we had to deal with that. But a consistent narrative throughout DeFi for months, years, bridging your assets from one chain to another is a pain in the butt, and it's dangerous. Now we have technologies like Layer Zero and a bunch of these other options on how to make bridging easier, but it's it's still tough. It's still not quite there. Then you have Solana come in and say, All right, Ethereum, the narrative is to keep Ethereum layer 1 clunky, but very secure and easy to run. And that's why we have layer 2 scaling to begin with. It's because layer 1 is highly decentralized, highly secure, but massively inefficient in the best way possible. Because again, you have to make that trade off. And Vitalik and the Ethereum community is perfectly happy with Ethereum layer 1 being clunky, slow, but highly decentralized and censorship resistant. And that's what I love about it too. And that's why we have layer 2s and everything that we just got done talking about. But is that the best way? Is that the best way? Because I know when I'm chasing yields that I have to go to a bridge to get my assets from OP to Arbitrum. And if multi-chain gets hacked or something funky happens with them, I think they lost their keys to the multi-sig, you get rugged by the bridge. Bridges are like a massive hole in the crypto space that we need to fill. Now, for me, again, here comes Solana. Their take is we we shouldn't need to scale. Scaling to Solana, at least from my understanding, and again, engage me in the comments and help me learn this better. But the take that I've gotten from Solana is that you should just be scaling with hardware. That makes sense to me. I'm an IT guy. I work on a help desk. I've been a computer guy for years. Um, when my computer starts running slow, yes, I can do a software upgrade, do a software update, and that's where we get EIPs, right? You implement an EIP, you make some adjustment, that's all software, right? Sometimes there's a bug in the client and people have to update it, run a patch on it, right? There are those things that you can do to clean up the software, but there's a limit to how much Ethereum wants to update the software for speed, efficiency, and scaling to it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where my mind is right now. Whereas my understanding from what Solana is doing is saying we want to make our code and we want to make our chain built in such a way where the only limit to what it can do is the servers that are hosting the blockchain. The faster your computer is, the easier it is to run Solana. Whereas Ethereum isn't really the same way. Ethereum is saying, no, it doesn't matter how high powered your PC is, the software itself is made to have this limitation on it, again, for the sake of you easily running it on your computer, which allows multiple people to run nodes and run validators and keep Ethereum massively decentralized like we all know and love. But Solana's take is we don't need to go to layer 2. We don't need to build new chains that have bridges and all of this roll up centric stuff. Let's just scale with hardware. Now, again, for me as a tech guy, somebody who works on hardware, software, supports systems, it makes a lot of sense to say if my software is built in a way that maximizes efficiency every time I put more RAM in it. Like it just runs infinitely better the more RAM comes out because like RAM gets cheaper and cheaper and RAM gets faster and faster every year. So whenever I feel like, hey, like I kind of want to get some more transactions a second, let me just go out and just get some more RAM and throw it in there. And of course, it's not cheap by any standards. Like I'm not running any of this equipment, but to think that when there's congestion on Solana, we just need to put some RAM in a server to make things cheaper and more fluid and to help the network grow, versus Ethereum says, no, 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 you need to make sure that you're on one of the L2s. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that Optimism and Ethereum and multiple L2s, they're building stacks, right? So Base is built on O2. Obviously, Optimism is an optimistic rollup. They're working on their ZK technology. It isn't quite there yet. Neither is Arbitrum's, but anyway, they're working on these technology stacks that allow Base, Binance, and all of these other companies, projects to make a super chain for Optimism. Optimism has their super chain where they're going to be able to kind of blur the lines between um, each of the chains that were built using that infrastructure stack, but still you have all of these separate chains. Whereas Solana says we don't need a separate chain. We're going to be the L1. We're going to have quick execution. We're going to have low transaction fees. And when things start to get murky, when things start to get tough, we're going to add RAM. We're going to add more hard drive space. There's something there. And I believe that there's something there, not just because of what I think. I think it's because of what these guys are saying, is what I've been trying to get at this entire time. David and Anthony and what is it, Adam? I'm sorry, forgetting your name wrong. I will, when I'm done ranting, completely remember it, but I'm just trying to get my ideas out right now. The Ethereum community seems so very defensive against the prospects of Solana. I feel like more than any other L1, Ethereum community wants Solana so badly to fail. And I think that there's something there. Within the last 3 weeks, I'm sorry, within the last week or so, there's been a lot of talk and commentary about baseless, about bankless, I'm sorry, um, having takes on Solana. There's something to Solana, and all I'm trying to say right now is I'm curious as to what that is. Why do members of the Ethereum community dislike Solana so much? What makes Solana so special? Is Solana worth me dumping a bunch of money into? I mean, Solana's like 22 bucks a token right now, or 22 bucks a soul right now. The I don't want to say like the barrier to entry is low, but I mean for me, I'm a Coinbase member. I every week transfer money from my checking account over to Coinbase, and then I send it out to Polygon, so that I can bridge it to wherever I want. Right? Obviously, Polygon's their transaction fees are dirt cheap, so bridging fees are super dirt cheap. So I'll send it to Optimism, or if I actually want it to go to Arbitrum, which is very rarely, I can just send it, USDC withdrawal directly to Arbitrum. But I also have it on Solana. USDC is completely native to Solana blockchain, and I think that there's something there too. That USDC went with Solana as being like their home base. Like there's something to that. I can't get that out of my mind. So yeah, I can take my USDC, my weekly deposit to US of USDC, and just send it right over to Solana and do DeFi on Solana. And that's exactly why I'm having this conversation with myself and you guys right now is, you know what, I'm probably going to go ahead and do that. I'm probably going to go ahead and start bridging that weekly that weekly deposit over to Solana and just explore a little bit more. Because again, like Solana is, I think the all-time high was like $250. Right now it's at $22, and I'm seeing increasingly the Ethereum community really just shit on Solana. And they're not doing, I'm not saying that David and Anthony are doing that on this take. I'm not saying that these guys individually are responsible for setting my opinion or giving me the ideas that I'm expressing right now. But I think that there is something to Solana, and I'm going to be doing some more looking at it. So with that, thank you so much for listening to me rant. If you've made it to this point, again, this is all very new. There, you know, I'm nervous. I'm trying to articulate myself in a way that I never have before. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking with me. Please hit the like button and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Engage me. How do you guys feel about Solana? You know, the way that I tag this, do I only have ETH maxis in the comments? I mean, if so, let me know. Let me know. Like, should I be ignoring Solana? But until next time, guys. Cheers. I'll catch you later.